I was really nervous to come up here, and I've been listening to your CDs for about 2 months and just indoctrinating myself with law of attraction with these things to the point where whenever I have a negative thought, I say cancel, delete, and I restate it in a positive way. And it's been amazing how my life has changed. Even coming here, I wasn't initially planned to come here. I woke up in the middle of the night and I just thought, law of attraction, I'll find a way, and I came in. And just now I was imagining you picking me. My question is this. I was raised in a very strict, oppressive religion, and I was raised specifically in the Mormon church. And as I follow my guidance system, and as I learn this, it feels so good. And where this initially came from was a day I was so frustrated, and I said, everyone has an agenda. My mom's agenda is to get me to go to this church, and the church's agenda to go here, and my friends just want me to go out and get drunk, and I just want some guidance. And just out of the blue, a book came in the mail, and then that led to this conversation, and then on and on. I'm just so honored to speak with you, but my question is this. I'm having such a hard time because this feels so good, but there are some aspects of it that conflict with my beliefs and what I was raised that are so core, it feels like that's me and that's source. And how can I leave that religion behind without feeling like I'm disconnecting from source and from God?
Well, we think that the thing that is most bothersome about this is it feels to you like you have to choose this, and by choosing this, whatever it is, push against that. In other words, it's like saying, I say yes to you and I say no to you. And what we want you to understand is that in the same way that there are aspects of what you are hearing here that are appealing to you, some will resonate with what they hear from Abraham. Some will resonate by what they hear from someone else. Don't ask anything to be the right thing for everyone. Just pick from it what's right for you where you are and let it be the next logical step for you. So when you look at your church and you say, it served me so well and still serves me so well in this aspect and this aspect and this aspect, you don't have to close the door on something. And what may be troubling you is that church is like almost every other church. It wants you to close the door on everything else. It wants to say to you, everything that you're looking for is here. And the reason that that flies in the face of the eternal expanding universe of which you are intuitively a part of is because you know that something that has been created cannot stand still. In other words, everything has to continue to expand. And so you, in your life experience, are becoming more than your understanding of what that particular church is allowing you to become. And so you're feeling sort of bound by it. And then you feel guilty as you try to move beyond it. And we say the true essence of that church and every other would say to you that you are an eternal being, would say to you that the source that you are reaching for, you have access to. So don't say no to it. Just say yes to the aspects of life that are calling you. And you will discover that the connection to source that you at one time looked for there can be in many different places, that it doesn't reside within a religion. It doesn't reside within the walls of a building. It resides in the universal forces, and it is a vibration that you tune into. And you have access to it, you see. And then don't go running around as most churches do and proclaim that you found something so much better. Just live your alignment. And when you live your alignment, you find value everywhere you look, you see. So what is the strongest discomfort that you have relative to your expanding beyond that? In other words, is someone bothered by it, or is it only happening internally within you?
It's internally within me, and it's something that I'm working very hard to let go of and overcome.
So what is the strongest part of it that feels like it doesn't match? What are you struggling with?
Well, according to the church, they say that being gay is wrong and that it's just a mistake. But
well,
when I
God
follow
really screwed up, didn't he?
my guidance from the very beginning, before I realized about law of attraction, I didn't feel that way. I felt like, no, you've got to be wrong because this feels so right and this feels so strong within me. And I thought, even if I have to go against this entire thing that I've been raised and I believed, I have to follow that. And so I when I learn about all these things, it makes so much sense because I kind of was already following that.
So you're saying that you were born into this physical experience and you lived life experience that caused you to have knowing that this particular body of works does not agree with. And so your own life experience feels invalid because somehow that makes more sense because there are more of them saying it than just the one you?
Yeah, and because they had taught me from the time that I was so small to fear, when you deviate, it's because you're being deceived or you're being led away. And so there's that fear that kind of creeps in. And I realize that fear is the opposite. And I go with, how do I feel? Well, I feel good about this and I feel good about this. But
all right, so let's say that you are approaching some aspect of your church and you are feeling uncomfortable about it. You have a new thought that feels more in alignment with you. And so now you are looking at that particular aspect of that church and you are shouting no at it and you are feeling great discord in doing so because you are focusing on something and you're pushing against it, and it's not about whether it's right or wrong, it's about your resistant stance that is keeping you from going with the flow, you see. So as you stop and you say, now wait a minute, so here I am, they believe what they believe and there has been so much value for me there also for so long, and maybe I don't have to make this a life-changing issue. Maybe I don't have to take this one thing that I'm really in disagreement about and blow it up. Maybe I can just let it go. Maybe I can just not push against this one thing. And as you attempt to do that and you feel better, nothing's changed about what they believe and nothing's changed about what you believe, but you have come into alignment with who you are. In other words, the thing that is most interesting as we watch all people in all churches or all religions is that for the most part, now it's not true of every single one, but for the most part, they are looking at conditions and needing control of the conditions before they can feel better. And it's such an impossible thing because, first of all, they can't control those conditions, and the harder they try, the worse they feel, you see. Where when you get it that not only can you not control conditions, but that it is not your job or your right to control the conditions, and instead you identify your personal relationship with Source, which is what every church talks about. As you identify your personal relationship with Source and you reach for the thoughts that allow it and you recognize the thoughts that don't, you can sort out that which is of value and that which is not of value in every religion. And if there is any religion that says to you, you do not have the power to reason, then it is a religion that is saying to you, you do not have the right to expand, which is your God-given right. You cannot stop but expanding, you see. We can see why there would be some consternation in your vibration if you've got yourself on that sort of a tug of war, you see. Often it's a misunderstanding. Often it's that the people that were originally receiving aren't there to explain it anymore and somebody else has rewritten it and rewritten it and rewritten it. Sometimes it was a misunderstanding to begin with, but in every case you must be able to find the guidance that is within you or you cannot be free. If you are trying to guide yourself by one other standard that is written outside of you, then you are using bogus information, and we would say that of all churches equally, you see. Not just one, all churches. Any church that says, we've got it figured out and you have nothing to do other than to follow these guidelines that have been written in a time that had nothing to do with you by people who were living a life different from you. Talk about a different perspective. And now you are expected to live your life, guide your life by that. Talk about pounding a square peg into a round hole. It's no wonder people are having so much discomfort in all of that, you see. But when you understand that you are an extension, a leading edge extension, and that even the founders of that church and others are flowing through you and from their broader perspective now understand even more. And as they are flowing through and watching you live your life, they are part of that stream that is calling you forward.
I feel that calling, and I feel like I'm to be a leader and to help others. And so I just wanted to make sure that I'm in the best possible place to do that and that I'm following my
Well,
right
lead
path.
through the clarity of your example, and please do not put yourself in the category where you pick out something as needing to be saved and then go after saving it, because nothing needs to be saved. There are plenty of people who are plenty happy and living happily ever after within their religions. That's just fine for them. You find what's right for you and live it, and law of attraction will bring others to you who are on your vibrational frequency. But when you get on a crusade where you are going to change the way things are, then you get into the role of pushing against, and then you create a religion, and then your religion sucks just like all the others.
Thank you very much.